Everyone thought that he was a lonely salaryman, but he gets transported into another world with unlimited magical powers. Liam was an average salaryman eyeing a dead-end job who ends up dozing off at work. But when he wakes up, he finds himself in a totally different world with nobles and high-class people having a drink while a maid tries to wake him up. He is utterly confused at this and wonders whether this is all a dream, but the maid keeps telling him that he should greet the guests for the party. Liam decides to have a look in the mirror because a TikTok said that it can end dreams, but he is shocked to see the reflection of a young boy staring back at him. The maid is a little worried about this little incel when his father walks towards him and tells him to get this together and do his looks, maxing routine later. Liam is totally surprised by that, but slowly realizes that he has been transported to a different world, where he is the fifth son of a noble family. The party going on right now is for the birth of his sister. Since all four of his older siblings are boys, he decides to sleep it off, hoping that he would wake back into the real world. But that doesn't happen as he wakes up still in the child's body. He decides to go out into the balcony, where the maid tells him that all the land in front of him belongs to his family. Liam can't believe his eyes, as he wonders how rich they actually are, while the maid looks at him. Confused later, he meets up with his older siblings, Bruno, the fourth son of the family and a total dumbass pimple. Reddy starts planning to marry their sister into the royal family to secure their own future. He explains that their father and oldest brother are currently trying to serve the nation in some way, as according to the laws of this country, every noble family needs to do something which serves the nation. Otherwise, they will lose their status. Unfortunately, their dumbass father hasn't done anything of importance yet, even though he is in the third generation, which means that if they don't do anything, they will be stripped of their noble status and become commoners. Bruno also tells him that their oldest brother all tried becoming a storytime TikToker. But the Sigma King called him a beta biche, which makes their job to impress the king even harder. Before they can talk more though, and their magic teacher enters the room with a book in his hands. Liam gets insanely excited at the thought of learning magic, but Bruno tells him to calm down since only a very few people manage to perform magic. Liam doesn't give a about his pimp of a brother, however, and immediately rushes outside and asks the maid to show him to the library. Inside the library, he finds a bunch of books on magic, so he randomly picks one out. He starts reading the book and tries out a basic fire spell, which to his own surprise he succeeds in hemorrhages to make his hand into a stupid candle. While the maid congratulates him on his first spell, he immediately goes to meet his father in his study and asks whether he can take out the books from the library. But Liam's father doesn't care about his dumbass fifth child and tells him to do whatever he wants. Liam cusses him out in his mind and leaves. With all the books needed, he starts practicing magic every single day in his own room and slowly starts getting better. He starts learning more complex magic, and after a month he reaches a point where he is able to perform flame magic without even looking at the magic books. Bruno, the pimp, is really impressed by this, since even the people who manage to learn magic take at least a year to cast the simplest spells without the magic book. He takes the magic book and tries to cast magic on his own, but his pathetic ass can't even cast the simplest of magic even with the books. Bruno hands Liam the book, claiming that they can do great stuff with magic and advance in the society, which Liam doesn't really care about, and heads back to the library to get the ice spell book. While on his way to his room, he ends up getting stopped by his father, who demands to know whether he has learned how to use magic. Liam gets a little nervous and prematurely ejaculates a little bit of ice magic on the book. Liam's father doesn't seem impressed by this and asks whether that's all he could do, but Liam decides to show his brain-rotted father the true limits of his skill and casts the flame cutter spell without the book, which shocks and impresses his father. He immediately becomes happy and tells Liam to get as many magic books as he wants. Before leaving, Liam seems happy to know that this father liked him, but on the way into the forest he ends up stumbling upon a man in a white jacket who asks whether he is from the noble Hamilton family. Liam tells him that he is the fifth son, when the Man asks whether he is here to capture him. Liam doesn't have any idea what this weird-ass man is talking about, but he doesn't want to get baby oiled by Diddy. So he tries to leave the man, however ends up stopping him as he claimed that he can show him a more efficient way to do magic. Liam immediately gets interested, and the man suddenly uses all 5 different elemental magic. At once, Liam is shocked to the core by this, and just ace impressed as he begs the man to teach him. The man agrees and tells Liam to draw a circle and a square at the same time to make sure he is not dyslexic. After that test, he tells Liam the trick to perform such magic, and to his surprise, Liam manages to use both the flame ball and the flame cutter magic against the mysterious man. Is shocked as this technique can only be performed by 1 in a million people, and he just wanted to flex his skill on a kid. Liam then tries to use 3 different magic spells at once, and even though he manages to succeed, his stamina is too low, and his magic powers run out. The man tells him not to worry about it, as he will slowly get better, and shows that his current limit is to use 13 spells at once. But he is trying to cast 16 spells at once. Liam is impressed by this, so the man decides to hand him a Samsung Galaxy ring which contains a ton of magic books. Liam gets excited by this and tries a wind magic spell which works flawlessly. But when he turns around to thank the man, he mysteriously disappears. Just like my dad, suddenly the maid comes towards Liam asking whether he is fine. Since they have heard that a mysterious man was spotted on their property, Liam leaves that he was alone. So the maid hands him a new magic book and tells him to be careful before leaving. Liam wonders what was that about when suddenly the man reappears claiming that he simply made himself invisible. He then looks at the book and tells Liam to try and cast a spell while wearing the galaxy ring. Liam follows the orders and summons a flaming salamander, which immediately gets sucked in by the ring like a pokeball. Liam realizes that he can save any spell he wants in this ring, so he starts summoning as many Pokemons as possible before saving them in his ring. He turns around to thank the man, but Head disappears, once again with a note telling him to keep his mouth shut. A month passes by after that incident, and Liam starts getting better at controlling his magic as he creates charcoal with the help of his spirits and also some mana crystals. Bruno ends up spotting him in the forest and checks the things that he made and claims that these skills will make him an independent person after that. This incel happily claims that he is getting married to a low-ranking noble family, but even though they are poorer, Bruno will still have more independence and will also pop his cherry. Finally, Liam is happy to hear that, but Bruno tells him that he should also start looking for ways to get independence. He explains that before Liam was born, his father really wanted a daughter to marry into the royal family, but his plans failed. As Liam was born a boy out of desperation, his father collected 1,000 soldiers and launched an attack on the Dragon of the Hills. But even though he managed to seal the monster, he ended up losing 90% of his soldiers. Bruno claims that even though Al and their father are trying everything desperately, he personally thinks that the Hamilton family is over, and Liam should secure his own future. Liam thanks him for the advice and leaves into the city to sell his stuff off and get some money. After getting a fair deal, he gets some lunch at a local noodle shop when he suddenly gets an idea and rushes back to his own home. He enters the kitchen and hands his servants a pack of instant ramen and tells them to try it. The servants are impressed by this new creation, while this capitalistic pig starts thinking about how he can turn this world into America with 50% obesity. He immediately rushes off to sell the instant ramen in the local shops, but they refuse to buy his product, since his oldest brother Albus put a restriction on him from selling his stuff. Liam leaves sadly, while Al walks out from behind the counter cursing Liam for being so good at magic. Liam, on the other hand, wonders what he could do now and decides to try something out. He has recently learned Astrage Box spell, which can store a ton of stuff inside and can also teleport. It's somewhere else. Liam decides to use his magic unconventionally and creates a clone of himself, which he sends off to a different kingdom, not controlled by the Hamilton family. The clone ends up selling everything and puts all the money back in the storage box, which Liam can easily take out at will. In this way, Liam the capitalist pig invented slavery in this new world as well. A couple days pass by as Liam keeps practicing with his own illusions and gets even stronger. Then before suddenly, one day Al approaches him and claims that he has been hearing a lot of good things about him and asks what he wants to be when he grows up. Liam immediately gets alerts since he knows that ALB thinks Liam is trying to become the next family head instead of him. So he simply says that he wants to find a job and earn money. This answer seems to satisfy Al as he tells Liam that he will introduce him to the Hunters Guild. Liam is really happy about it since he will become an adventurer this way, whose job will be to hunt down monsters. The very next day, he visits the Hunters Guild, and where all the adventurers start mocking him for being a short king, but Liam keeps his head up high and his middle finger higher as he walks up to the guild master. The man tells him that even if he's a noble, he can only take the jobs befitting his rank and asks Liam to show him how strong he is by attacking him. The guild master clearly underestimates Liam, so Liam decides to go easy on him and shoots some low-level fireballs around him. This shocks every single person in the guild, including the guild master, who claims that with his skills, Liam easily deserves to be a B-ranked adventurer. Soon he leaves the guild with a shiny new badge, as he wonders how strong the ranked adventurers actually are. While walking though, he ends up being stopped by a gold-digging e-thought named Asna, who asks whether he is truly a son of the Hamilton family and whether she can join his party at the end of the dumb is still a guy and jugs are jugs. So he agrees like a total S and heads off into the forest for their first mission. The moment they enter the deep forest, though they immediately come face to face with a giant wolf beast. The furry hoe immediately jumps into action and takes out her knives when to her surprise a bunch of other wolves also appear from the bushes, completely surrounding them. Asuna gets worried, but Liam tells her to calm down and busts out his magic Pokemons that the wolves immediately grab between their jaws. Suddenly though, the Pokemon start swelling up like my wife after marriage, completely incapacitating the poor wolves, after which Asuna makes short work of the beasts. They haul back a huge load of 42 dead wolves, completely shocking everyone, including the guildmaster, who immediately hires them for a job. Both Asuna and Liam soon leave for the task at hand, which is to defeat a caterpillar monster, which has been blocking a major route of trade. Asuna is pretty happy, but also scared, since monsters are much different than normal beasts, since they have a magic stone inside of them, which gives them immense power and special abilities. Liam, however, is still optimistic, but his optimism changes when he finally finds the caterpillar, whose body is basically made out of metal, making all of their attacks completely worthless. Neither physical nor magical attacks seem to work on the giant monster. When Liam gets an idea and decides to give it another go, he soon instructs Asuna to act as bait, and once the monster is in position, he takes out his item box and creates a huge boulder, killing the caterpillar. Immediately they soon return back to the city, producing not one, but 2 dead caterpillars. The guild master is shocked, but Liam claims that he simply used his enemy search skill to find the other one as well. The guild master is impressed and ends up giving them a huge bonus. A couple of days later, Al and his father arrive in the city to wait for a very high-ranking person. The man walks out of his carriage towards Liam's father, but takes a quick glance at Liam as, well, Liam feels a little uneasy, and his feelings turn right as he is called by the man who asks, where did he get the ring he has? It turns out that the mysterious man who taught Liam was a highly skilled mage named Raymond, who this man knew from earlier. The old man laughs at this, and then tells Liam to attack his servant with as much power as possible, since he wants to check his strength. The butler man goes into the corner and stands, as Liam charges up 11 attacks at once and hits the servant with a barrage of fireballs, breaking his barrier and hurting him. The jackass old man, however, simply laughs at this, claiming that Liam is already strong enough. He asks Liam what wants to do when he grows up, and when Liam claims that he wants to be independent, the old man immediately decides to knight him, so that he can gain his independence already after that own day. When Liam was practicing his item box magic, he ends up finding a letter inside, which was from Raymond claiming that he wants to give Liam a graduation gift. He claims that he has put 100 kilo of gold into the lake. He just emptied, and Liam needs to find a way to get that out. Liam racks his brain for a while, realizing that it couldn't have been gold bars. So he follows his hunch and commands the box to release the gold dust powder, which turns out to be the correct answer. Soon a trapdoor beneath him opens, leading him to a dungeon where he finds a very old magic book and a letter claiming that Raymond was never able to use it, so he is passing it on to Liam in the hopes that he might be able to use it. Liam is overjoyed at this and starts practicing the otherworldly magic spells. But even after trying multiple times, he keeps failing. Several days pass by, when and finally Liam manages to produce a magic spell from the book named Another World. This creates a magical door which takes him to a different dimension where he can hide himself or anything he wants. He realizes that this spell can have endless possibilities, so he happily continues practicing. Another month passes by when, on one of their adventures while fighting against a frog monster, all of Liam's attacks fail as the frog decides to self-destruct. Realizing that there is no way out, he quickly creates the door in, which he hides alongside. Asuna, as the frog destroys everything in the area, Asuna realizes that she would have died if not for Liam's magic, which makes her doubt her own strength. They soon recover the magic stone and head back to the guild, where the guildmaster is shocked, since it was in a ranked task, realizing that Asuna is doubting her skills. The guildmaster suggests that she forms a contract with Liam as his familiar, which is basically a slave which will help her gain levels faster. Asuna, the power-hungry hoe, immediately agrees, and soon the guildmaster goes through with Aspel binding them in a contract. This ends up being very beneficial for her, since she gains a unique skill, which makes her faster than the Flash. Realizing this, Asuna decides to take Liam over to her friend named Jod, who is a veteran adventurer herself. She decides to enter a contract with Liam as well, and to everyone's surprise, even she ends up getting a unique skill, which helps her cure any wound with her cooking. This is basically a miracle, and soon the information about this spreads all over the kingdom. Several days later, the old man invites Liam over for some tea and claims that the Princess Scarlet of their kingdom is very interested to see his slaves perform for her, but Liam refuses, claiming that they are his friends and not in a circus. Before leaving, the old man immediately apologizes, as it turns out that the princess was disguised as a servant, and watching this young boy defy a princess's order make her even more interested in him. The next day, Liam is called to meet Princess Scarlet, who immediately strikes him as a wither toxic personality as soon as he finishes. Giving his greetings, she arranges a chair for him and then tells him to recite the story of how he defeated the giant caterpillars and frogs. Liam is relieved because this is such an easy request, and the princess is really impressed that he managed to defeat such powerful monsters without even knowing high-level magic spells. Liam suddenly feels a tent in his pants at the mention of high-level magic spells, but then Scarlet snaps him back to reality, asking about his contract. Magic, she asks if he can show it to her, and Liam is not going to fold, just because this has royal authority. He refuses Scarlet's request, clearly telling her that his friends aren't circus performers. Scarlet suddenly laughs, saying that Liam is indeed an amusing person who entertained her twice. She declares that he will be rewarded for this and immediately grants him the title of a baron. Liam is bamboozled because he knows that he hasn't done to deserve this promotion, but Scarlet tells him that he made her laugh twice, and that is enough of an accomplishment. She also gives him a magic book about familiar contract magic, and Liam is truly thrilled to receive it later. As he goes to the forest to learn the magic in the book, Bruno comes there to pay him a visit. He gives him some birthday bumpsto, congratulate him for becoming a noble, and then says that Al must be cursing himself right now because he helped Liam obtain a higher title than their father. Liam tells Bruno that he still is a baron, which is a lower rank than his father. But Bruno explains that the first-gen nobles who obtain the title by achieving something are considered higher ranking than those who got handed down to them by their dads at night. As Liam goes back home, he runs into ALB, who is boiling over with rage and jealousy. He scoffs as he passes Liamond, then swears that he will do something that will show everyone that he is better than next. Liam meets up with Asuna and Jody, both of whom start calling him master and asking him to do unholy things to them. This makes all Themen in the city jealous, and Liam finds it hard to endure their gazes, so he takes his girls for monster hunting. Jody's an archer who pins down the wolves while Asuna quickly finishes them off. Jod remarks that her eyesight has improved a lot after the contract, and that is a really great thing for an archer. Liam decides to improve her eyesight even further with an enchantment spell, basically turning her eyes into telescopes. She evolves from a mid-ranged archer to a sniper, and earnestly thanks Liam for that. Soon they turn to the guild and find that everyone is in a hurry. They ask one man what is happening, and he replies that the dumbass ALB messed up badly. Here moved the seal of the powerful monster sealed in their territory, and too many people have gotten seriously injured. Because of that, Liam immediately realizes that Al took this foolish step, because he was jealous of him and he runs to the mountains where he sees dozens of injured soldiers and even Elvis on a stretcher. As soon as he sees Liam, Al grabs his collar and says that he won't lose to him. But then the guildmaster bonds him and puts him to sleep because he doesn't want to hear another word that comes out of this idiot's mouth. AA asks him, what are they dealing with? And the guildmaster tells her that, decades ago, Liam's great-grandpa sealayed a dragon fiend in the mountains, but now Al has removed the seal. The dragon fiend right on itself is quite weak after being sealed off for such a long time, and their old problem are his offsprings who have hurt all the soldiers. The guild master says that he has arranged the people who can recall the dragon fiend, but as long as they don't deal with the kids first, it won't be possible. Liam and the girls go to where the dragons are, and Asuna charges ahead to deal with the dragon kids that are smaller than she expected. However, their fire breath is really powerful, and it can turn a tree into ash within seconds. Liam tells Asuna to get back, and then shoots fireballs at the dragon kids, but they counter it. He realizes that they can't win, and the girls suggest that they retreat. Suddenly, the dragon kids charge them, and Liam gets an idea. He tells the girls to rune away as fast as they can, and then summons the magic book to open the door to the pocket dimension right in front of the dragon kids. They dive right into the pocket dimension without thinking about it, and Liam instantly dispels it. The baby dragons disappear with that, and everyone rejoices because they now have a clear chance at victory as the magicians cast the seal around the dragon Asuna. And Jod asks Liam about the spell he used earlier. He tells them about the SPSP and how he can store things in a pocket dimension. He says that since he has not completely mastered the spell, the things inside the pocket dimension may vanish, and that means they won't have to worry about the baby dragons. Asuna starts fawning over Liam because of this. When suddenly he hears a voice calling him, he turns around and finds that it is the dragon fiend Raiden who is talking. To him, he is shocked and asks, how can this happen? But Raiden has more important questions for him. He can sense that Liam's body and soul don't matter match, and he can also read his mind to learn that he is from another world. Liam is still processing this development, but Raiden has taken an interest in him. He asks Liam to take him along and show him the kind of future he can create, and assures that he can help him with his power. Liam accepts the proposal because he doesn't get any bad vibes from the dragon. Raiden then suddenly turns into Mena and enters Liam's body, getting engraved on his handers. A tattoo. Liam can feel energy overflowing from his body and immediately gets to test it. He shoots 11 magic missiles without incantation, and when he chants a spell, he can fire 17 of them with perfect control. He is amazed by this, but then he sees all the magicians wheezing and coughing like they forgot their asthma meds this morning. Raiden tells Liam to absorb his mana into his body because it is overwhelming. The others. Liam does that quickly, and the magicians finally breathe in peace. The guildmaster thanks him for handling the case so well, and Liam apologizes for the inconvenience his stupid older brother caused for everyone. He decides to make it up to the injured people by donating 10 kilos of gold. Later that night, Liam's dad thanks him for taking care of the mess. I'll be created. Liam is curious about what will happen to him now, and his dad replies that he will stay under house arrest for the time being, and he will think about his punishment seriously. Liam feels bad for his brother and goes to his room to talk, but doesn't go inside, as he hears all screaming that it should have been him to revive the Hamilton family and not Liam. Liam realizes that his brother just cared about his family name, and that made him into such a prick. He decides to leave him undisturbed and goes to bed. As he wakes up the next morning, he realizes that he got 2 new exciting spells after forming a contract with Raiden. He immediately rushes to the forest to practice them, and after working hard all day, he manages to master just one of the spells. This spell allows him to summon the baby dragon from the pocket dimension, and it is really friendly and obedient now as the baby dragon is cuddling with Liam. He hears a surprised voice asking if he can do holy magic too. She tells him that she's here for important business. First Shettles Liam that defeating a dragon is a big accomplishment, but the old men in power won't allow her to give him a bigger title than a baron. That is why she is going to grant him the title of a hero candidate, because that will not only help him, but also make the public be at ease. Scarlet then asks Liam to tell her the story of how he defeated the dragon, and he tells her about making a contract with it. This shocks the princess, because now she is certain that Liam can use holy magic. And if that news gets out, it can become a huge burden on him. So she orders him to keep this story a secret from everyone until she says so. Liam has no choice but to agree. But the next morning, he gets the price from the princess for keeping his mouth shut, and it is a treasure chest containing 3,900 gold coins. A couple days later, the old man James comes to see Liam and asks him if he can use holy magic. Liam stutters as he tries to come up with an answer, because Princess Scarlet has paid him to stay silent. However, James tells him that the princess is too young and inexperienced to handle such big matters. He says that the amount of money she gifted Liam was enough to make him suspicious. On top of that, Scarlet would normally have reported Liam's achievement of stopping a dragon fiend to her father immediately to get him a promotion, but she did not, which meant she was hiding something. On being pressed by James to reveal the details, Liam finally folds, and he admits that after absorbing the power of the dragon fiend Raiden, he got some holy magic spells. James is curious to see them, and Liam uses the all-clear spell that dispels all negative effects from its target, including poisoning and petrification. James is impressed by this, and then decides to give Liam an important history lesson. He begins talking about the War of 3 Dragons that happened many centuries ago. The dragon that could use magic won the war, and then it joined a human who could borrow the dragon's holy magic. That human went on to establish a country, and it is the country in which they live. Liam is a bit confused by how this story fits his context, but James asks him what comes to his mind when he hears that the dragon joined a human. This kinky son of a says that he imagined the dragon marrying the human and having children together. But turns out the rest of the humans are the same. They also thought the same thing. But now James believes that it was the other way round. He tells Liam that he absorbed the dragon into his body, therefore joining it. Liam thinks that his words make sense, and James says that he has the potential to create the legend of their country's foundation. That also makes the old man worry about 2 things. The first concerning the Hamilton family. He tells Liam that his great-grandfather got the title of a noble by sealing Raiden, but in case he turns out to be the dragon that helped in founding their kingdom, this achievement would be immediately taken back, and in the worst case, their noble status would be dissolved. However, that is the smaller problem, because James fears that the dragon may be angry and plotting revenge against their country for being sealed. Liam understands the logic behind that, but then he recalls that when he called Raiden a dragon fiend earlier, he calmly told him that he doesn't care about what humans call him because they give him a new title every few centuries. He concludes that Raiden isn't angry at the kingdom, and James thinks it is all because of Liam, who properly talked the dragon and freed him the next day. As Liam goes to the guild, Hisa and Jod are eagerly waiting for him. As soon as they see him, They drag him away from the guild because a lot of people are showing interest in him. After he defeated the dragon, all of them want to join Liam's party so that he can carry them. And the girls ask him to be careful about letting anyone join the party. That is not all, because as Liam reaches home, he finds a fat stack of Tinder profiles of the girls that want to marry him, or at least their fames want them to. Liam is a bit overwhelmed by this. And then Bruno the pimp comes there to marry Liamto. His wife's distant cousin Liam somehow dodges all the marriage offers and goes to Asuna and Jod to show them something special. He takes them to the forest and they hope he is going to show them his foot-long sausage, but instead he takes them inside his pocket dimension, which has a house inside it. Now he tells them that he got it made from some carpenters in another city and then put it in, and since he has mastered the another world skill, the things in this dimension won't vanish. He then gives the girls a tour of the house and explains what positions they will do. At each location, Jod thinks that this place is too bright, and Liam decides to experiment on ways to set the lighting just right. He first summons a shadow spirit that turns the entire dimension pitch black and then uses a salamander to light up the fireplace for some natural light and warmth. Jod is still not satisfied, but the low-level shade spirit can't control the darkness. Level Asuna says that she hopes spirits could evolve like them, and that gives Liam the idea to turn the shade spirit into its familiar. Just as he makes a contract with it, the spirit evolves and gains the ability to talk and manipulate darkness better. It swears its loyalty to Liam for making it evolve into a medium-level spirit, but Liam says that he can't summon him again because he doesn't know the spells for summoning medium-level spirits. The shade spirit tells him to toss his ring to store him, and then practice till he can summon him freely. Liam likes the idea and immediately sucks the spirit inside. Next he evolves the salamander into Charizard's distant cousin and sucks him inside the ring as well. He then evolves and stores one spirit of each element and obtains the medium level spirit summoning magic that is incredibly valuable. The next day Liam goes to the forest because Raiden has sent him there on a mission. Suddenly Raiden calls out to him and asks him to summon his kid. Liam does just that, and the baby dragon suddenly takes him to the hidden forest of the fairies. The fairies flee as soon as they see a human, but when Liam tells them that Raiden sent him, they start trusting him. Liam has learned from Raiden that fairies are in danger of being hunted because their wings are sold for a very high price. That is why the dragon wanted him to protect the fairies in his place by erecting a barrier to hide them, and by giving them names because it is one of the natural magic spells that all humans can do. Liam first uses the familiar contract spell on a fairy and names her Ren, which causes her to evolve into an elf. Even Rihanna is surprised because it is a huge jump, and Liam doesn't understand anything about it. Raiden tells him that when he named the fairy, along with the contract magic, the effect became stronger. He advises Liam to always name creatures he forms a contract with from now on. After seeing Own of their sister become an elf, all the fairies are eager to get named. By Liam, he names them all as he turns them into his familiars, and soon everyone is an elf. RNA acts like their leader and asks Liam how they can serve him as his familiars, and not having any task for them, he simply tells them to build a village and live. Here the elves eagerly start planning their village, and Liam feels tired after using too much mana. Ash is about to take a rest. He feels a strange magic power deep in the forest. He follows the power's direction and soon finds a magic fruit hanging from a tree. Rihanna comes there and tells him that whenever fairies have free time, they gather the magic in the air and gather it in one place. Ridon tells Liam to try it, and he gets permission from Rana to eat the fruit. Just as he takes a bite, he feels energy overflowing inside it. He tries shooting some missiles and finds that he can shoot 19 of them at once. Now the next day, he visits the elves again, and they eagerly greet him. But all the enthusiasm leaves their body as they show Liam their miserable attempt at building a house. Suddenly they hear a scream and run to its source to find that some bandits have captured an elf. Liam runs towards them, telling them to leave the girl, but they decide to give him aeriality. Check 1. Bandit attacks him, but Liam just hits him away with the magic missiles. The other two bandits decide to tag team him, but Liam summons his shadow clone and their combined attack knocks both the bandits out. Liam then decides to temporarily send the elves into the pocket dimension because the forest is not safe for them. He worries that there's not enough space for them there. But to his surprise, the pocket dimension has expanded because he ate the magic fruit yesterday. Yes, he tells the girls to get inside and then brings them out on his territory so that the bandits can't attack them. The elves are amazed at his abilities and they kneel before him, begging him to be their king, and led them. They promise to do whatever he wants if he becomes their king, and the pervert decides to take up the offer. While he gives the elves some instant ramen to eat, he begins practicing the other high-level holy spell he got from Rayon. It has been 4 days since he started practicing it, but he has not been able to use it even once. Suddenly, he has his eureka moment, and he finally learns how to perform the spell. He gathers the elves around and then uses the newly learned spell, which is actually teleportation magic, to bring them to an isolated patch of land 100 kilometers away from his home. His clone was already waiting for him there, and that was how Liam was able to set this place as his destination for the teleportation magiche, dispels the clone, and then Ridden tells him to use the power of his crest in the surrounding area, just as Liam does that. A seal hiding the true appearance of the land is shattered. The elves are happy to see that they are going to live in a lush forest, and Rayon tells Liam that this is one of the locations he sealed. Liam asks the reason for that, but Raiden falls silent, so he doesn't pry further after that. The elf girls get busy finding places to build houses, and Liam practices his teleportation spell to master it. After many tries, he is able to reduce the duration to cast it to 0 seconds. He decides to head back home and leaves the 3 baby dragons to guard the elves once he reaches home. He is paid a visit by Scarlet, who asks him if the dragon inside him has mentioned anything about the Promised Land. Liam says that he has not, but reveals that he has mentioned the sealed lands he also tells her about. The elves and Scarlet wants to see them. Liam has a favor to ask her before that, and that involves meeting a skilled engineer to help the elves build a village. Scarlet introduces him to a dwarf who is the court engineer, and Liam creates his clone to take him along to the elf village once they reach the forest. Scarlet asks Raiden if this is the Promised Land, but he doesn't give a definite answer. Scarlet says that, according to legend, when humanity is on the brink of destruction, they will find shelter in the Promised Land. She takes out a ring that is the key for their salvation, and it resonates with Liam's tattoo. He asks to hold it, and just as he touches it, the island starts to float. There is no doubt in Scarlet's mind now, and she kneels before Liam, swearing loyalty to him because he is the master of the Promised Land, and requests him to create a country here that will save everyone. Soon after that, the elves start building their village with the help of the dwarf engineer, while Liam goes to eliminate all the monsters in the region. Scarlet eagerly watches him fight the monsters, and Liam asks her if she shouldn't return to the capital. Now she tells him that she is going to stay next to him and serve him, because he is the master of the Promised Land. Liam is not so sure about that because it will be a huge political hassle. But Scarlet says that her mother's family is said to have dragon's blood in their veins, and that is why women from her family were often married into the royal family. However, she wants to serve Liam, who contains the holy dragon Raiden inside him. On hearing this, Raiden tells Liam to take Scarlet to the north because there's something she will like there. They head north and find a stone door that leads them to ancient ruins. As they head down the stairs, they find ancient scriptures painted on the walls and then come face to face with a black dragon statue. The statue suddenly awakens. Andridon tells Liam that it is a guardian golem that is modelled after him. Liam's first task is to defeat the golem. Andridon gives him a hint for that. He says that his name is written on the golem's head in an ancient language, and if he erases one letter, it will turn into another world. That means obey luckily. Scarlet knows the language and she tells Liam the exact letter he needs to erase. He teleports near the golem and hits the letter, suddenly turning into Scarlet's obedient pet because of the dragon blood inside her. She decides to stay with the golem for some time. And Liam goes outside. He starts sighing. Ash thinks how insistent Scarlet is on serving him because he can't get used to it. Suddenly he sees smoke coming from the direction of the elf village and teleports there, only to find that everything has been reduced to rubble. Rena comes running and tells him that the wolfmen attacked them and destroyed everything, and the wolfman tribe come there to face Liam too. The leader calls him a filthy the outsider and tells him to leave the Holy Land immediately if he doesn't want to become his family's dinner. Liam tries to talk things through, but the wolf leader pounces on him without giving him a chance. Liam teleports behind him and then hits him with a close-ranged lightning attack. To stop him, he then summons a baby dragon to show the wolf leader that he is not a suspicious man. The wolf leader is astonished to see this, and Liam asks him if his tribe has been protecting this region on Ron's orders all this time. Affirms, and then Liam tells him that the elves are also under the dragon's protection. The wolf leader apologizes for attacking the village, but Rea tells him that it doesn't matter because they both serve the holy dragon. She suggests the wolves to enter into a contract with Liam and swear loyalty to him, and the entire tribe agrees to that. Liam sees no harm in doing that, and he starts with the leader of the wolves just as he casts the familiar contract. Magic on the leader, she turns into a woman. Liam is shocked to see this because he thought that the leader was a male. But anyway, he names her Chris, and then forms a contract with the other wolves. The next day he finds that the newly evolved werewolves are helping the elves to build the village. Chris runs to hug him as soon as she sees him and then apologizes again for damaging the village. Liam wishes that he had a spell to repair everything magically, and Draydon tells him that if he doesn't have a spell like that, he can just create it. Liam gets excited on hearing this, and Draydon tells him to clearly imagine the entire process, see from beginning to the end. Liam focuses hard and comes up with an auto-repair magic that allows items to return to their original state, even if they are damaged after that. He goes to an isolated area to create more new spells while he is busy practicing an improved version of fire missiles. Rihanna comes there to inform him about an emergency. A group of human soldiers has entered the area and they are trying to hunt the fairies for their wings. Liam immediately teleports to the location where the humans were spotted and goes to confront them. The soldiers ask him if he lives here and does he know about the fairies. Liam tells them that this place is his country and they should not come here without his permission. The soldiers just scoff at him, telling him to narrate that story to his imaginary friends. They try going ahead, so Liam shoots magic missiles to warn them. Despite that, one guy rushes towards him and Liam just teleports on his horse before blasting him away with a magic missile, and then tells them never to step foot in his country again. With that, he returns to his village where Rihanna introduces him to the fairies that were living in this region till the humans attack them. She says that all of them want to form a contract with him, and Liam is flabbergasted. As he sees their number, he spends the entire evening coming up with 100 new names, while he forms contracts with the fairies and turns them into elves, and all of them become residents of his village. Later, Liam brings Scarlet, RNA and Chris into his house in the pocket dimension and shows them the helmet. The soldiers were wearing. Scarlet remarks that it is from the Pei Kingdom, which lies next to the Promised Land, along with the Kingdom of Jamal, which they belong to, and another country called Quador. She thinks that the soldiers yesterday were just scouts, and soon more armies will come from the three kingdoms to claim this territory as their own. Liam grows tense on hearing this, and he begins to seriously consider Scarlet's suggestion to build a country. Here she tells him that he needs 3 things for a country: that is land, people, and power. He already has the land, and more people will come as the news about the country spreads. Liam remarks that he needs power, and Chris volunteers to lead the army of werewolves, to kill all the intruders who attack them. However, things progress faster than they were expecting, and the next day, a noble from the Jamel Kingdom comes to see Liam on his king's order. He says that Jamel Kingdom doesn't want to fight with Liam, and instead wants to form an alliance with him, for that the king has offered to marry Princess Scarlet to him. Liam is taken aback to hear this, and though the offer sounds good, he wants to confirm things. With Scarlet first, he creates the telepathy spell on the spot, so that they can talk without letting others know, and asks if he should take the offer. She tells him that he should, because even if there is a huge political plan behind this offer, the marriage will still help his kingdom greatly. On hearing this, Liam agrees to the noble's offer, and says that he will marry the princess, but note immediately. He says that he needs at least 1 year to turn around his tiny nation into a place suitable for Scarlet, and the noble replies that he will convey this message to the king. They leave with that, and both Liam and Scarlet are relieved that their negotiations were successful. After that, Liam sends his clone along with Scarlet so that he can reach her mansion, and then teleport him there. Once the clone reaches the mansion, he returns to the village and takes the original Liam to the mansion. Scarlet is there to welcome him, and as they head inside, Liam senses the power of radon coming from the mansion. He asks Scarlet if there is anything connected to the dragon here, and she leads him straight to the church, where a silver statue of Raiden is displayed at the altar. Raiden is surprised to see that the statue is still around, and Liam asks what is it. The dragon asks him to cast the all-clear spell on it, and just as Liam does that, the statue turns into battle armor and appears around Scarlet's body. She can use holy magic with the armor's help, but she is exhausted after just 1 pump, and the armor turns back into a statue. Again, Raiden tells them that the battle armor was created by him, so that humans could use his abilities, and this one was the most powerful. One of them, it is also the last remaining one. But Liam says that they can just make new ones now. Raiden likes his confidence and tells him the recipe to make the magic armor. Liam uses the help of his spirits to create a small magic statue first, and then asks Scarlet to put her blood on it to form a contract with it. Just as she does that, the statue turns into an armor, and now she can use holy magic without collapsing after just 1 attack. Raiden tells Liam that high-level magic items like this are close to living beings, and that gives him the idea of using familiar magic on it. He forms a contract with the armor and names it Ares, making it lighter and more powerful. Raiden tells Liam that he once named one armor on a whim, but he never thought of making it a familiar, and Liam guesses that it is the giant golem. Raiden affirms and tells him to try making a contract with it. Liam immediately teleports to the village and drops his blood on the golem, and it becomes a magic armor around him. He feels power rising inside him and shoots 37 power missiles at once, but that completely exhausts him as well. Raiden congratulates him because he is only the 3rd person to survive wearing this armor, and if he can master it, he will own the world. Liam uses some monocrystals to recharge his stamina, and then asks Scarlet if he can borrow the golem for some time. She tells him that he can keep it as long as he wants, and Liam immediately puts the golem in his item box. He then tells Scarlet that he's going back to the village, and she decides to head back to the capital and keep an eye on what the kingdom is thinking. Liam teleports her back to her mansion and then returns to the village. He sees that the construction of the houses is going well, and the villagers should be ready within a week. Just then, Rihanna comes running to tell him that they have found that a group of trolls live near their village. Liam has heard about trolls, who are huge muscular monsters who can either be very violent or very kind. He asks Rina which type of trolls did they find, and she replies that they are the violent type. She is worried that humans are going to keep entering this region, and if the trolls pick a fight with them, it will be bad for the rest of them. That is why. She asks Liam if he can take the trolls under his wing too, and he likes the idea. He heads towards the direction where Thetrolls were spotted, and on the way he finds iron ore that can be very useful. Suddenly, the trolls come to confront the intruder, and they ask Liam who the hell is he. He introduces himself and then tells the trolls about the village he is building. He asks them to come live with him, But the leader of the trolls says that they don't trust humans. Liam tries to convince him that he is a good person and has elves and werewolves living with him. But the troll leader doesn't listen to him at all. He tells him to get lost or he will die, and then starts bashing the ground with his heavy club, creating craters. With each hit, Liam dodges his strikes, and now he is certain that trolls are really strong. He doesn't want to fight back, but the troll leader doesn't give him a chance and pushes him into a narrow crack where his feet get stuck. Liam realizes that though troll leader seems dumb, he had planned this out from the beginning. Now that he's no way to escape, he decides to use the golem armor to protect himself from the heavy blow, and the troll leader is shocked to see him alive. Liam dispels the armor and returns it to the item box, and then tells the troll leader to stop fighting and look at his men. First, the troll turns around to find that all of them have pissed their pants because they were also in the range of his previous attack. Thankfully, Liam used the golem armor to create multiple shadow clones who protected the trolls with barrier magic. The troll leader finally understands that Liam is not a bad guy, so he decides to listen to him. Liam begins to wonder if these trolls are really the violent kind. But anyway, he tells them the entire story. He asks their trolls to live in his village so that they can be safe from humans and no fights start needlessly. The troll leader asks him to show them the village first, and Liam immediately teleports all of them to the village. The trolls are astonished by the teleportation spell before anything else, and just then Chris comes there. As soon as she sees the troll leader, she recognizes him and asks, "What is he doing here?" The troll leader seems to know her too, and he throws the question right back at her. Chris doesn't answer and attacks him without a warning, knocking him to the ground. She starts acting smug and asks her what the hell is going on. She tells him that she thinks that the troll leader is an annoying idiot, so she fights him. Every time they meet, Liam realizes that they're fighting friends and not enemies. Chris then asks the troll leader, when did he become so weak so as to be defeated in just one hit? And Liam tells her that she grew stronger after becoming his familiar. That makes sense to the dumb werewolf, and she tells the troll leader to become one of Liam's familiars too, so that he can become stronger. She manages to convince him pretty easily, and Liam uses the contract magic on the troll as he names him Guy. The troll shrinks in size but becomes stronger and more intelligent. Chris immediately challenges him to a rematch, and this time Guy can easily match her speed and strength. The other trolls watch in wonder and say that their boss has turned into a legendary Gigas, and Liam realizes that is the name of the evolved species. He then names all the trolls and causes them to evolve into Gigas, and they all join his village. The next day, Guy and the rest of the evolved trolls carry huge rocks from their base to the village on Liam's orders, but they don't understand why he needs them. He tells them that he is going to take out iron from these rocks, and then summons a fire spirit and an earth spirit to do the job. They create a furnace and melt the rocks. And aside from iron, they also get a bit of copper, some gold, and a few nuggets of mithril. Liam the Greedy thinks that he should have got more mithril because then he could mass produce holy battle armors, but Raiden tells him to be happy with what he has because mithril is sweet rare. Liam asks if he can't just make magic armor out of iron, and Raiden tells him that every armor needs at least some mithril because other metals are not strong enough to hold the power. Liam decides to give it a try anyway, and he makes the earth spirit pour molten iron into a mold before infusing Ron's power in it. And as the mold around it crumples, the armor is revealed to be a statue of the sun. He explains to Raiden that if the name given to the armor matches its shape, it should provide better results, and surprisingly, it works. Liam succeeds in creating the first ever holy armor made of only iron. He creates a total of 15 armors after that and divides them equally among the elves, werewolves, and the Gigas. The next day, as everyone is trying out their new armor, a bunch of bandits arrive there and immediately start talking about how rich they can get by selling the elves. Liam is about to show them their place, but Reina asks him to stop because she has got this. She calls a pink-haired elf and whispers something in her ears before sending her to the bandits. The bandits think that she is surrendering to them, But just as their leader tries to grab her, the elf sends him flying with a punch. The other bandits are shocked at this, and they take out their weapons to fight. But the elf girl knocks them out in an instant as well. Liam is moved to see how strong the elves have become with the magic, armor. Even though they're the weakest species in his village, he thinks that he should make more armor. But then the thought of coming up with new names for all of them drives him crazy. See, while he is distracted, the bandit leader suddenly appears behind him and takes him hostage, telling everyone to surrender if they want to see this boy live. Everyone collectively shrugs on seeing how stupid the banditis, and he doesn't even understand why they are acting so carefree. Liam just points his fist at the bandit's chin and knocks him out with a magic missile, scaring the crap out of the rest of the bandits. Later, Liam goes to his pocket dimension and summons a bunch of water spirits there. He asks them if they can separate salt from seawater and then put it back into his item box, and they agree. He immediately starts pouring the seawater stored in his item box, and the water spirits begin separating it. Liam notices one of them is not working, and asks if she didn't understand the instructions, but she informs him that she was the first water spirit he formed a familiar contract with, causing her to evolve. She tells him that, because of that, she has become smarter and more capable than other spirits. She boasts that she is learning how to possess things in the real world, but the Spirit King scolds her when she overdoes it. Liam asks her what does she mean, and she explains that strong spirits can possess objects permanently, and they can lend their power to weapons and magic items. Liam is curious to try out this ability of hers, but before that he decides to make her more powerful. He names the water spirit Zero, and she starts feeling the increase in her abilities. Liam then summons a fire and earth spirit to create a metal statue of the water spirit, and asks her to possess it. The spirit does it easily, and by doing that, Liam manages to create a water element magic armor the next day. He gives the prototype elemental magic armors to Ren, Chris, and Guy, and they can use the power of the spirits inside. Then they are really excited because this new set of armor is even stronger than Theone he gave them yesterday. Liam thinks that his prototypes are a success, and with a few more of these armors, he can protect his nation. However, Raiden knows that he is underestimating himself, because even right now, he has enough power to go to war with other nations. After a couple days, Liam returns back to his hometown, where his Suna and Jod were eagerly waiting for him. They scold him for not giving them their daily dose of vitamin D recently, and then asked him to lend them some money. Because he keeps everything they get from doing their quests, Liam decides to do them one better, and gives them a part of the money that Scarlet paid him to keep Radon's existence a secret. The girls are intimidated by such a huge amount of money, but they decide to keep it. They immediately go shopping with the money, and instead of buying something for themselves, these beta simp thoughts buy a gift for Liam, who has a ton of money. They buy the only available magic book in the entire city, and Liam learns a new spell from it. He thanks the two girls and then takes them to an inn, where he reveals that he is building a country. They are shocked to hear this, and when Liam invites them to live with him, he feels that they will refuse. However, he is willing to follow him to the end of the world. They are ready to start the journey immediately, but Liam says he will master the new spell he learned from the magic book first. He casts the spell, called Dust Box, and a black box appears in front of him. He spams the spell repeatedly to master it, and once he is sure that he has reached the peak, he decides to test it out. He tells the girls that the Dust Box is like the item box, and it can hold things according to the spell user's mana. The girls are curious to know the difference, so Liam puts a slice of their food inside it for 1 minute it, and when he takes it out, it starts smelling like his dad's socks. Liam realizes that this spell spoils anything that is kept inside the Dust Box quickly, and Asuna gets excited to hear him say that it can be useful in some special cases. However, he doesn't know how exactly they can use it. But then he sees a waitress carrying a bottle of wine. Liam immediately chases after her and gets a bottle of freshly squeezed grape juice. He decides to add some yeast to it and then places it in the dust box for 5 minutes. When he takes it out, it has become wine, and Liam realizes that his guess was right. And this box can ferment things quickly. He begins thinking about how else can use it. But before that, he decides to test out the relation between time and fermentation. He puts 10 bottles of grape juice into the dust box at 1-hour intervals, and then calls Jod to do the taste test. Because she just looks young and is actually a veteran, Hunter Jod starts with the bottle that was in the dust box for 1 hour and moves up one by one to the bottle that was there for 10 full hours as Liam sees her gulping down the glasses. One by one, he starts drooling because he remembers the drinking party he used to have with his friends. But Asuna thinks he is UGL, Jody So. She smacks out of this pervert in theme, and time Jod finishes her assessment and says that the 1-hour bottle tastes like own-year-old wine and the 10-hour bottle tastes like 10-year-old wine. Liam concludes that 1 hour in the dust boxes equal to 1 year after that. He takes Asuna and Jod to his village, and they're astonished to see 3 different races working. Under him, they bond with each other quickly and throw a party at night. The next day, they go to the forest and find a bunch of wild fruit trees. Liam makes everyone collect fruits so that he can turn them into wine and start his alcohol brand as always. Guy and Chris start competing with each other, and Rina tells them to stop picking all the fruits from the same trees. Suddenly, Liam hears someone crying in pain, and he immediately rushes to help. He sees a pale man biting one of the evolved trolls and immediately hits. The attacker with his power missiles sends the attacker flying, but he gets up and runs away into the forest. Liam decides not to follow him and turns toe check on the injured person. Guy is already trying to wake him up, when suddenly, the man turns pale as well and attacks Guy like a rabid dog. Guy somehow holds him back and restrains him, but Thayman doesn't return to his senses. Liam thinks that he might be affected by some negative status effect, so he uses the dispelling spell on him. The spell starts working, and the man grows calmer as his bite marks heal. And then he falls sound asleep. After seeing all this, Jod deduces that the man was probably bitten by a vampire, and that turned him into a vampire. Temporarily, everyone calls her stupid for suggesting that, because they know that vampires can't come out in the sun. However, Jod knows more than all of them combined, and she says that it must have been a Dracula. She explains that Dracula is a mutated vampire, born once every few centuries, and it is so powerful that because of its influence, the other vampires become immune to sunlight. Liam realizes that they are facing a really tough opponent this time, and he tells everyone to gather as much information as possible. Soon, a werewolf comes. Running into the village with bad news, he tells Liam that he just spotted an army of 10,000 vampires around 10 km away from the village. Everyone panics on hearing this, and the werewolf scout reports that he saw different species like goblins and orcs in the vampire army too. All this evidence is enough for Jod to confirm that a Dracula is indeed leading the vampires. Rena says that vampires are usually a timid species that live quietly, and the Dracula is making them violent. They wonder if they should fight the vampire army, but they also start fearing that they will turn into vampires. If they are bitten, Liam decides to evacuate all the nearby villages first and sends his subordinates to warn them, but it is pointless because the vampires had already taken over some villages by that time. The person who saw an entire village of orcs losing to vampires and turning into them tells Liam that there was one special vampire leading the army all. The other vampires bowed before him, and he could use magic to revive the vampires that lost their lives in the battle while everyone is worried. On hearing this, Liam says that he knows how. They can stop the vampires quickly. He sends his elite servants to fight against the vampire army, and they wear the elemental magic armors he created for them. Rena uses water magic to drown the vampires, and Chris uses explosion magic to blow them away. Guy's earth magic also covers a wide area, flinging the vampires into air, while Asuna and Jod use their sword and bow to kill them. Quickly as well, Liam watches everyone from a distance waiting for the enemy boss to arrive. Meanwhile, his servants defeat a lot of vampires and then decide to retreat. Suddenly the blood particles in the air come together and take the shape of Dracula, who immediately revives the fallen vampires with his magic Liam was waiting for. This chance, and immediately teleports in front of Dracula, and then teleports him away to separate him from his army. Dracula is not pleased with that, and Liam asks him if he is willing to coexist with others or will only be satisfied if he is defeated. Dracula refuses to coexist with other species, calling them inferior, and declares that he will turn all of them into his servants. That answer is enough to help Liam make his mind and heat tax Dracula with his power missile. She easily blocks them all and then appears behind Liam to attack him. Liam teleports away in time and then uses Sholly lances to attack him. Even they don't do any damage, and Dracula turns into dust and then reappears completely healed. Dracula then turns into dust again to attack him and catches him from behind. Liam uses an illusion spell at the last moment as he escapes the vampire's clutches, making him bite an illusion. Liam feels cornered now and he wonders if he should use the golem armor, because that will give him a huge power boost, but also exhaust him quickly. He decides to save it for last and keeps attacking Dracula with regular magic. But nothing works. The vampire boss simply turns to dust and then returns to his original form. He tells Liam that his attacks won't hurt him because he is already dead and he can regenerate infinitely because of the life force. Around him he tells Liam that the fight is over and then pounces on him. But Liam has finally got the way to defeat him. He quickly summons the dust box and traps Dracula inside it. Dracula can't seem to break the walls of the dust box, no matter how hard he tries, and he gets frustrated quickly. Liam thinks that living things can't be placed inside the dust box, but since Dracula claimed to be already dead, he can be put in there. He decides to see how long can Dracula hold out in a place where there is no life force, and it takes a full 10 hours before the dust box shows any progress at night. The dust box tells Liam that Dracula has entered a state of suspended animation, which means he is basically a vegetable right now. Liam is relieved to hear that and thinks that he has finally won. If you like this video, please consider subscribe.